Hello Patreons, hello all of you. This is a special video going out just to you guys. First of all, I wanted to thank you once again for all of your support, especially throughout all of that time of making Revenge of the Sith. As you guys know, it's finally done now, it's finally finished and out of the way, which is awesome. And I wanted to let you guys know, because for a lot of you contributing here on Patreon, you've been contributing to get sneak peeks with the Star Wars, but now it's done. Some of you might be wondering, well, what are we getting in return now? What are we paying for? Well, I want to let you know what the next project is. Now, this is not something that I'm going to mention on the channel at all until it's completely done. So that way I don't get the kind of pressure that I got trying to finish Revenge of the Sith. So I'm going to tell you guys, and once I start animating again, which probably won't be for, some while down the track because I've got to write the script and all. But the next animated thing, once I start animating it, I'll be putting it up in parts like I did with Revenge of the Sith for you guys. But for now, I thought I'd let you in on what the next sort of big story like that is. I've mentioned in the comments a bit, the next one I want to do is actually not a fan fiction. I want it to be an original story. So here's what it is, okay? The original story is called No Man's Land, okay? It's set in the future, and it's sort of a post-apocalyptic future, but the apocalypse that destroyed the Earth this time was time travel, because everyone invented time travel, and that destroyed civilization because everyone kept going back in time and changing stuff and jumping forward, jumping back, and they just wrecked it. It's like time travel is like wrecked, like torn apart the fabric of reality itself, right? So in the story, the last human city is sort of under this big dome, and the dome protects it from any shifts within the timeline. So inside this dome, in this city, you can live a normal life. You're safe. But once you go outside of this dome, like the fabric of reality itself is all torn apart and ripped apart, and just weird stuff can happen. I mentioned a bit of this before on my Chronicles of War video. I sort of mined that idea and used it there. But it's going to be that, where so outside this dome, it's this crazy, wacky land where the ground underneath your feet can just suddenly burst into flames or turn into quicksand, or acid rain can drop on you and portholes will just randomly open and, monsters or whatever will come out. It's just reality itself is torn apart. It's a world that's just anything can happen. Okay, so in this future, what happens is criminals, like inside the dome, sometimes rather than face justice, they will flee and run outside the dome into no man's land. So there are bounty hunters whose job it is to go out into no man's land, get these people and bring them back to the dome so they can face justice. So it's sort of like so these bounty hunters are like the toughest of the tough. They're like, think Bear Grylls and MacGyver crossed with like Mad Max and Boba Fett. So they're kind of like that. So the story is about, it centers around one bounty hunter chasing. So the story is one bounty hunter who I was thinking initially I thought he'd be The Rock. I could make him The Rock, but then I thought about it and I was like, actually that's a little bit too easy. That's kind of like, because everyone would love to have The Rock in everything. It's kind of cheating putting him in. So I thought, well, maybe I'd actually have Daryl from The Walking Dead be the bounty hunter, because he's kind of already that guy, and I really do like that actor. I want to see him get more stuff. So I thought maybe I'd make it Daryl from The Walking Dead is this bounty hunter. He's out chasing down a criminal in no man's land, and so it's basically a story device where he's chasing this criminal through no man's land, and there's all these weird things happen. It's like series. It's basically a reason to have like a series of really cool action sequences between the two of them, because the person that he's chasing is not just a criminal, it's also someone that also was a bounty hunter who has, broken the law. And so it's kind of like this game of chess between these two bounty hunters, and they're both experts. They both know everything about navigating this landscape, and they're having sort of this battle of wits trying to catch each other out. So imagine like a good Bear Grylls and an evil Bear Grylls fighting themselves in like a cosmic Mad Max. That's basically what it would be. And I think the criminal that he's after, I would actually make Gwendolyn Christie, because again, I love Gwendolyn Christie, and I'll make it that she's fled the dome because she killed her husband, right? So that's the setup. Daryl is chasing Gwendolyn Christie because she killed her husband. But as the story is going on and he's tracking them, they're chasing each other and they're having this chess match and different action set pieces. We have flashbacks to what happened in the dome before that. And through these flashbacks, we learn that Gwendolyn Christie didn't kill her husband, but Daryl actually killed her husband and framed her for it. So it's like the person that we think was the good guy is now actually Daryl is now actually the bad guy, and the person we thought was the bad guy, Gwendolyn Christie, is now actually the good guy, right? So there's like a twist about halfway through the movie. So it all climaxes at the end where they have their big showdown, and then at the big showdown we reveal, double twist, that the reason that she left the dome and fled into no man's land was not just to get away from, being framed for a crime. It's because she knows that out in the wasteland, out in no man's land, there is one time portal that can take you back to where you were 3 days before. So she knows that if she fled the dome because she knows if she gets there in time, she can go through it and go back and save her husband before he's killed. But if she does that, that means a time shift will occur inside the dome, which could destroy that last sanctuary of humanity. So it's kind of like a double twist where it's like, okay, I sympathize with her now, but is she really going to jeopardize all of humanity, like humanity's last hope, to save her husband? So it would end where she eventually triumphs over Daryl, beats him up, kills him, whatever. And like she's at the portal and she's like looking through the portal and she can like see her husband on the other side. And then in Inception style, it cuts. So we don't know, like with the Inception spinny head thing, it cuts before she goes. So we don't know whether she ever actually went through with it and went through the portal to save her husband and maybe jeopardized all of humanity or not. So we leave it on that cliffhanger. So that's the general gist of it. No man's land. So it would start with Daryl chasing Gwendolyn. We set up the world, we set up the universe, we set up that they're bounty hunters and all that. Then we get some flashbacks to like what it was that Gwendolyn is supposedly did and how it all went down. So by the time it reaches that climax, we've got like double twist time. Anyway, that's the idea. I haven't actually written the script yet. I've just sort of got the gist of the story there in my head. So yeah, that's what it will be. It'll be like, I'll obviously, as is always the case, I'll fine tune it and might change a few things here and there. But yeah, so I wanted to let you guys know that's the next project. Only you guys know. I'm not going to mention it to anyone else. And in the meantime, there's also something else I want to work on for you Patreons, which I'll put another video out soon. But I also, until I start on that new story, I'm going to be uploading videos earlier here than on the channel, so that way you guys get things earlier. So you're still getting something for your money. So that's the lay of the land. That's what's going on now. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. It's really, really meant a lot, and it really has been a great help indeed. And it does help me each month. It really does. So thank you so much, guys. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the comments.